We're live again. James Maduke speaking from trainingsites.io. And I've got a follow-up video based on yesterday's video, which was about hidden courses. And in that video, I kind of introduced the idea that if you're creating YouTube content, you're a content creator, you're doing videos on YouTube on a regular basis, you may have created a course and not known about it. It was a hidden course. And I was talking about at that point, I kind of introduced this idea that you'd be able to do something along these lines where you'd have kind of a different bunch or series of YouTube videos that you did. And if you kind of connected them with a single topic, you'd end up with a micro course or a mini course, something to get started with your course. And that was, kind of really hidden. You didn't know about it until after you're playing with it. And you went, wow, great. I do have a course. I can create a course. And when I introduced that, I was talking about the fact that you were looking at these courses and you looked at the content that was being created and you went, okay, how can I use those videos and organize them into a course? Well, sometimes that really isn't applicable because of the way that you're actually creating the content. How are you creating or putting together the original YouTube videos? So I'm going to introduce kind of a follow-on to that, and it's really about observational courses. They're not kind of structured, this is how to do something. It's observing existing videos and using that content to apply learning lessons, being able to teach stuff by a video that you've already done. So if you're having trouble, putting together course content, or your topic, you're really good at it, but what happens is if you have to create a video that is a training video, it's like you freeze. You can't stand looking into the camera. You don't like the way you sound. You don't want to spend a whole bunch of money for a video editor to do fancy edits and things like that. You're creating content already, and whether that is a YouTube video that you do on a regular basis, or perhaps a meeting that you have with a coworker or a potential client or someone that you're doing webinars or something, a Zoom recording, you're creating this content, this digital exhaust. There's another way to create courses from it, and it's called observational courses. So it's another way to take existing content and turn it into a course, even if you didn't realize that you were doing it. So how does this actually work? And think of it this way, is if you are doing a video on YouTube and you're doing a video that teaches or talks about some particular topic, what I want you to do is take a couple minutes and go back and look over or rewatch the video that you created. And if you're not familiar with observational learning, it's a little bit different than just being in your face instructed with content, right? That's not necessarily a way to learn. It's a way to distribute content. It doesn't mean that you've actually remembered it, or you can apply it, or it fits in with your unique situation. It's just a content dump. So if you're just doing that kind of instructional video, I understand that, but I'm talking about taking a video that might have a little bit more to do with interaction with another person when you're recording the YouTube video, or there's more personality, it's more ad hoc, it's not as structured, because I'm hoping it's something you do on a regular basis. And if you're not already, please make sure to start doing videos on YouTube. It's a great place to practice, and more importantly, it's a great place to get used to hearing yourself and being comfortable in front of the camera and sharing what it is that you already know and do. So when you're doing observational learning, that is a form of active learning, because not only are you looking at something to see how it applies to you on a second take, but it gives you a very, very focused attention on the pieces that are actually in the content that you can see. So what happens is you find patterns, or you recognize topics or repeating patterns that allow you to remember things far easier. So you're able to see things that are successful or not successful in the way the content is delivered. And it gives you a chance to, when you're watching these videos the second time, it gives you a chance to go over and take a look at it and say, is this really true? Or is this person wrong? Or is this person right? And again, I'm talking about using your own videos, but remember, this can be applied to any of the videos from the channels that you subscribe to. You're taking a look at other people's content and you're applying it to yourself to say, is this something that really makes sense? Or can I take something that I have and see how that applies in a situation? They're in a particular market. They're taking a different approach. How does it involve me in the way that I teach or that I share what's going on? So it gets you really critical on what's going on and what takes place. The other thing that happens is it's very contextual, right? When you're watching a video again for the second time, or you're watching someone else's video, and I'm sure you've already done this. If you've been watching YouTube like I do every morning, I watch probably 35 minutes to an hour, the people I subscribe to, and the thing that I'm always doing is I'm trying to look at, this is the context or the situation that they're in. How does it apply to me in my market, with my customers, with what I'm trying to teach? How does what they do apply to me? And it's really adaptive in terms of taking that context and seeing how you can actually play around with it. The other thing that I really think that is interesting is if you are doing this and you're reflecting on not only your content, but the content of others, is you look, how can I improve the way I deliver the content? What are the way that they're delivering the content? How are they using things like stories? How are they using things like the rule of three, where they have particular ways that they've actually shared the material that they're trying to share? How can I improve, or how can I use some of the structures or formal ways that I find effective to me that might be effective to my readers or my students? How can I use those same kind of approaches? So here's the thing that kind of works with observing. So I'll open up my pencil here again. We'll clear things up, see if I can get this to working properly, and we'll go back to a little bit of that hub and spoke model. So when I'm doing this and I'm taking a look, and you've got a whole bunch of YouTube videos here, right? Let's say you've got 6 or 7 YouTube videos that you've done. And again, the reason I'm asking you to make YouTube videos is that they're about a topic that you probably have an interest in. And again, I'm assuming that there's some educational value in these. It's not just entertainment, and yet you can learn from entertainment as well. But you're still picking something that's of a topic that is related, or a category that is related. But what I'm doing or talking about here is when you're going to make your course, you can take that YouTube video, and what you need to do is obviously rewatch it. So you want to make sure that you're rewatching it. You also want to make sure that you do a transcript. So you've got a transcript, you've rewatched it. And here's the thing, if you're going to create a lesson or a course, most courses that most people consider is they'll have a video that's part of it, and sometimes they'll have text, but they might have a quiz, a workbook, handouts, materials. But they've got all this additional content which can be taken from the actual video that you created. But here's the thing that I'm going to suggest that's a little bit different. Not only can you use this video here in your lessons, but what you can do is observe or create a second video to use if alongside or as a replacement to the YouTube video. So you don't have to use your YouTube video that you already created. What you do is you make comments or what you learned about the actual video when you watch it. So it's observing what was delivered in content, and you're taking a look and you're saying, what can I do with this? How can I adapt it? Is it in the same context? How can I look at it from a critical point of view? And you want to go through and you want to just talk to yourself or talk to the camera and see how things like this and you're observing to see how it applies can be turned into educational content, because you observing it and you going, man, oh, I have a better idea where I can give a case study of how this was applied. So you got personal stories. So all of these things about being authentic and sharing your information, and as opposed to your opinion, these are also opinions. Let me just erase this. We picked that up. So this is also an opinion. on what you're observing. Let's try that again. It's picking up what I'm saying. So this isn't a one about, it's not one about saying, hey, you got to make sure that you do these 5 things. So do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's not about teaching the process. It's about teaching what you see in the video, and more importantly, how you think that applies. And give your opinion on things where you're authentic and you say, hey, I've tried this, it doesn't work. I've tried this, it does work. Or if I did try this, I got this result, and here are some options on ways you can use it, or maybe when you haven't used it. The great thing about these as well is if you have a series of videos or a library of content that you've created, it puts you in the position where you can adapt different pieces with different observations and bundle and unbundle them into courses. So this is just another way to realize you do have hidden courses. There's courses in you, and there's courses that can be very, very structured, where you just take similar videos and put them together in a course format. On the other hand, there's another way to look at that content and do an authentic ad hoc observation of what's in the video, how it applies, where it applies, situations on whether it was tried or not tried, but to do some real critical thinking about what it is that's going on. Now, the other thing that's very interesting for me here is that if I look at the effort that's involved in creating an online course, many of the people that I run into think that it has to be scripted, very structured, heavily edited, and in some cases, if it's highly technical material, yeah, it probably does. But on the other hand, if you are teaching as a professional in a particular skill, and that's a non-physical skill where you're talking about things like, building businesses, or even doing things about that are craft related, or not something that's a do and die, do and die how to do a mathematical or data kind of calculations. When you're doing those kinds of things, you are don't have to be as structured or produced. These can often be live streams where they are just, again, observations, but they can be unedited live streams or lightly edited live streams. And that does a whole bunch for you in terms of the time that it takes to actually create these, the cost that it creates to cost to create these, and your ability to do them quickly. So it's not a long drawn out process. As long as you're creating some videos, whether they be Zoom calls or YouTube videos where you're capturing some digital exhaust, going back, taking a look at it, and more importantly, just giving your opinion about something that's already happened. So think about observational courses. If you're nervous about creating your online course, take a look at your YouTube videos first and or other people's YouTube videos to see how it applies in your market, in your situation, and you can effectively have yet another hidden course. If you want to find out more about these, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Trainingsites.io is the site. We've got some links below. I don't know if they're on the screen, but it's trainingsites.io. You can actually book some time with me there one-on-one. We'll do a strategy call. And more importantly, if you are just nervous about creating an online course, you want to get started, make sure to go to trainingsites.io/AI course, and I'll actually create a course live with you. So hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back tomorrow. These are all live sessions about teaching online, building your education business. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Let me move that scene. We'll say take care and expect the best. We'll be back tomorrow.